if you haven't heard of Chris, look up thehealthandfitnessguy.com.au. He runs an absolutely mint program called Primal Thenix. And if you've got injuries, if you're an ex-athlete, current athlete, weightlifter, powerlifter, bodybuilder, calisthenics expert, whatever it might be, then you should get involved with his program. It will do things for your body that you weren't aware of, right? And he does all sorts of magical stuff. And it's awesome. Okay, so I'm going to try and find old Chris O again. And hopefully he's somewhere, because I can't find him right now. So hopefully he's going to be on in a minute. But I'll just do a little plug here and there. We're actually going to be running Primal Thenix at TFW Darwin. And it's going to be awesome. Monday and Friday. We had some guys in last night. Really good feedback, really good response. So today we are going to... Hello, mate. Look at him, the weapon that is. So all things ketosis, mate. How are you? And are you ready to rumble?
Yeah.
Are you ready to spill some beans about this? What's going on with ketones and ketosis?
Sure thing. I'm going to start my stopwatch so I don't go over 5 minutes. Here we go.
Nice.
Look, ketosis is kind of the big frontier in health and fitness and nutrition at the moment. There's still some people that are a little bit against it and ardently advocate use of carbohydrates for performance, health, and all that sort of thing.
Yep.
There's ample evidence and more evidence occurring that ketosis is, such a huge health benefit. Essentially, ketosis is replacing the use of carbohydrates as your primary fuel source for energy production.
Yeah. And
it's replacing those carbohydrates with the breakdown of fatty acids and fats into ketones, which are the byproducts of fat metabolism. So it's considered a more clean burning, longer lasting, more efficient energy system. If you think about carbohydrates, I want you to look at them as like your energy system is like having a fire. And when you have carbohydrates, you've got to constantly put on little sticks all the time to keep that fire going. So you constantly need to refuel. With ketosis, you're looking at putting a large log on that fire and you're having that fire burn consistently without the need for refueling for extended periods of time.
Yep.
And that's why it is more efficient, more clean burning, less, it produces less negative byproducts than excessive and carbohydrate intake. So things, and when I say carbohydrate intake, a couple of bits of fruits are okay here and there. Your carbohydrates from sweet potato, vegetables, that's fine. Excessive carbohydrates is all your sugars, all your pastas, all your breads, and all those sorts of things that you do not need to consume. Carbohydrate is essentially the one macronutrient that we can live without. And we could live without, permanently. Protein and fats we need for cellular health, production, and the building blocks of life, essentially. There's a lot of growing evidence out there to really validate the use of ketosis, not only for health aspects, but also performance in sports, and that's really key there.
I've heard a couple of little things. I'll try not to make this go over, but what about, so there's a difference, like nutritional ketosis. Like I've been reading some studies about that being good for treating, helping with seizures with epileptics and that sort of stuff. So what we're kind of talking about is not going down like that full on route, or is that what you're getting at? Are you talking like...
You can certainly enter nutritional ketosis.
Yep.
It's been around and validated since I think the 1930s when they used it to cure the incurable disease of epilepsy. It alters brainwaves and brain functions, and which is why now they're putting a lot of effort into researching its use for neurocognitive issues. Because it is so effective at treating those things. You can enter nutritional ketosis. I've coached a lot of people through that process. I can take anywhere from a couple of weeks to a couple of months to adjust to that way of eating. And you have to be very strict and you can't get out of that. So one thing that's often mistaken for is ketoacidosis, which is the end product of, a diabetic issue where there's huge health concerns. That is an entirely separate thing. It's got nothing to do with nutritional ketosis, which is where you would eat, say, 75% fat, 20% protein, and 5% carbohydrate or less. So it can be very hard to maintain that way of eating, and people can have concerns with, say, cholesterol levels and that sort of stuff. So with nutritional ketosis, it's a prolonged period of eating carbohydrate restriction before you then get into the production of ketones.
So are you telling me that going against basically everything that a lot of people get taught about performance, especially with performance, and, you know, that you have to have carbohydrates in your diet if you want to be, you know, a top athlete, if you want to excel in power sports or strength sports or endurance sports or any sport, basically, it's, you know, it's like the food pyramid, right? The Mediterranean diet, you've got to have your grains, you've got to have your stuff, all that. So we're calling BS on that, right?
Yeah, to a degree, yeah. You can actually, when you're in ketosis with enough intent and long enough, you can actually produce your own carbohydrate molecule from the byproducts of fat, and that is called glycerol. So you can then use that as a really clean, fast-burning energy substrate that replaces carbohydrates. So you can improve your efficiency in doing so. So, you know, it kind of negates much of that. There's a lot of performance studies on actual ketosis athletes versus traditional carb athletes, and the performance outcomes are often the same. So, I mean, the evidence has been skewed from the last 40 years of carbohydrate dependence across all elements of society and testing. Now that they have athletes that have been in ketosis for longer periods of time, they can run more relevant studies to its efficacy. So look, I think we've come up to 5.5 minutes. We better pull it up there, and we can go into more depth tomorrow on some of these aspects.
Okay, awesome.
Cool.
Absolutely brilliant. All right, thanks, Chris. See you later, mate.
See you soon. Bye, mate.
Bye.